Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, the program is so good morning, Abuja. And now to our next discussion, we are looking at the cognitive development of a child. Understanding his psychology, his social behavior. We're looking at his development from childhood to adolescent. And in the studio, we have an expert in the studio to discuss that. You're welcome to the studio, ma'am.
Thank you. Good morning. Abubakar, a psychologist.
A psychologist in the
Good
house,
morning.
and it's very important for us to look at this development of the child. A lot of parents don't do that,
Yeah.
and it's it affects that child from that year, from that childhood, maybe from
From
infant
cradle.
to that adolescent, and being an expert in that field. Can you tell us, how important and how it can shape the cognitive development of that child?
Good morning once more.
Good morning, welcome.
We are talking today generally about the child psychology. And before diving into the topic fully, let's just have an understanding of what child psychology is.
Yeah.
Child psychology, I can say, is a branch of psychology that deals with how the mind, behavior, and development of a child takes place from infancy to adolescence or adulthood. So it explores how children grow and develop mentally, socially, emotionally, and behaviorally throughout that period. And there are certain stages, like you said, that this development take place. That is from that infancy before reaching adulthood, which is the infancy stage, the first stage, which is from birth to 2 years.
Yes.
Then from
Toddler.
the childhood stage, which is from 2 to 12 years old. The childhood age is subdivided into the early childhood, which is 2 to 6 years, and the middle childhood, which is 6 to 12 years. Then the next stage is the adolescent stage, which is 12 to 18 years, and the adulthood stage, which is 18 years and above. So the psychologists try to study main areas of development of a child during this period before he or she attain adulthood. So these areas that were being identified and examined include the cognitive development of a child during those period, the physical development of a child at that period, the social development, the emotional development of a child during that period. So talking about the cognitive development, how early experiences with in childhood can affect a child's cognitive development. First of all, the cognitive development of a child has to do with how a child think, how he acquires knowledge and process information. So this is what we mean by cognitive development. And starting from maybe that infancy to adulthood, there are a lot of activities that have to take place that can help shape that cognitive development in a child. For example, the interaction he has with his or her caregivers, the opportunities he is being given to explore his world around him through play, through fun activities, and all other things helps in shaping the child's cognitive development.
I think we have to go on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll still look at how all the things can affect us and affect our child and the styles that most parents we use here.
Are you authoritative?
Not really.
You're not neglectful. I won't call you a
No.
You're not.
And
But
I
in
don't
between.
think- I'm just in between.
You know, one
As a
parent
mother.
cannot have one parenting style. You have to
Okay, imbibe too.
imbibe some. You understand? Maybe a bit of you're having, like, let's say 60 or 80% of authoritative, and let's say like just
Take it to
20%.
70. No, take it to 70.
Maybe like 20% of authoritarian, because sometimes you have to be a bit strict,
Yes.
and sometimes you have to allow the children to also express and feel.
When we come back, no, I don't know which part I am in for now. We've been speaking on understanding child psychology. It's very important to understand the cognitive development of your child from cradle to adolescenthood because it brings bonds between the parents and the child for you to be able to bring them up in the right way. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, the discussion continues. Let's start. We were speaking on technology before we went on that break. So, at what age do you think a parent should allow his or her child to use the phone?
Other devices.
Using the phone and other devices doesn't mean, being that we are in a digital age, even if you don't use it at home, there is no specific age. So far as the child begin to learn, because as early as 2 years, there are some programs, educational programs or apps that you can give the child or click it to the child, maybe a reading app or a story app or a game app that you have. The most important thing here that we are seeing is parents need to monitor and regulate technology use. You understand?
I think there are other devices that when you get into a child, even at as early as age, 4 months, you can see the child picking something.
Exactly.
And I have seen it on myself, and it worked perfectly
On the child.
on the child. So, but as they grow, you limit it.
Exactly, there is a limitation. And when we are given this this phone, you are talking about phone. For a child to have phone, I think it has to be when he is in senior secondary,
I think so.
when he needs to interact with others through maybe Zoom meeting or and maybe Google Meet, or maybe receiving lecture notes, because there are some schools that allow that. And when you're giving them this phone, it doesn't mean you're just giving it to them to just go and enjoy their lives without supervision. And before you give them, you have to draw their attention that this is why we are having this phone. So strictly, it's for this. And when you need it, there is a time for you to use this phone. When they are going to bed, maybe if they are going at 9 or 8 a.m., they submit the phone to you and they go to sleep.
And I think the parents should also, we have a Google family that every parent should put that device on that Google family.
Exactly.
Be able to
monitor the activity of the child.
What that child is doing. And then we have some apps that just pops up on the screen.
On the screen,
Yes, which is not child friendly.
Exactly.
I mean, the parents have to be very observant.
Yes.
Very observant in whatever your child is doing, whether be it you're giving a child a phone, be it an iPad for a child to learn, whatever it is, so far as it has to do with technology use. Parents need to monitor the activities of their children, and they should let the child know. They should create awareness to that child that this is the reason why you are doing this. You shouldn't use it in a negative way. This is the reason why I bought this for you. So that if you are restricting the child, he wouldn't feel you are being mean or you don't want him to enjoy the phone you are giving him.
Let's look at the mental health of these children nowadays. That you find a child having depression, anxiety at a very young age. Is it that we did not have that during our time, or is now that we're realizing it's happening, or we're more aware of what is happening now?
Actually, the way we discussed about parenting, it has to do with the parenting style and the environment in which the child is growing. For you to notice depression or anxiety in children, it has a lot of cause. It could be due to academic stress. It could be due to improper or uninvolved parenting, absence of the parents not fully engaged in the child's life. You understand? When a child is being neglected by the parents, maybe he wants to express his feeling, because these children, the way we see them, they think differently with us. So that is why the authoritative parents create room, you understand, for discussion between he and the child. If the child is having some challenges, he will be able to walk up to you as a parent. This is how I feel. You give comfort, you give advice, and you tell the child what to do and guide that child. So, but when a child wants to talk, maybe you ask him, go and tidy up your room. And maybe that child is having stomach ache, he couldn't do it in the case of authoritarian. Oh, you are still there. You don't want to. And the child is scared to come and tell you that I'm having some pains. I won't be able to carry out this task. Definitely that thing is affecting him because he has something in him. He will begin to worry. Are these my parents? Do they really love me? Look at the way they are treating me. I'm in pain. They don't want to ask. They don't want to listen. And sometimes the words that we use on these children have impact.
Definitely.
Some of the children have different love languages that when they don't hear it, it affects them. Say, for instance, you and your husband, you spend a week without your husband telling you, well done, thank you, I really appreciate what you do, I love you. How do you feel as a woman? You begin to throw tantrums in the house.
Yes.
You understand? So it's the same case with children. When they do something, oh, I love you. I'm so proud of you. So you did this. Wow. Well, I know you can do better. That's why I love you. How has your day been today? You understand? I love you. Come, all these body love. You buy gifts for them. You sit them down and let them know you love them. Let them know you are involved in their lives. You understand? So we're doing that will relieve. We will give. How will I put it? We will have zero to no cases of depression and anxiety in children. Because these are some of the things
that leads to it. And we have lots of parents that compare their kids
to other kids.
Can't you see this
child is doing, and that is what children don't want.
That comparison affects.
As an expert in this field, that has to do with cognitive development of a child. So, and we are celebrating International Day for Mother's Language Day, which is today. And how do we now preserve our mother's language?
This is very, very simple. And looking at language, before I continue, looking at language is not just a means of communication, it's beyond that. It's a means of identification of our cultural heritage. It helps us connect with our family, to find our roots and to know our history. So I encourage mothers to keep speaking their mother tongue to the children so that the language will not become extinct. Because even when they are no more, the children can keep connecting with the mother's culture and her family as well. So I urge mothers to keep speaking the mother tongue to
the fathers too. They can
and the fathers
do the same. You shouldn't be the mother.
They keep saying it's the mother. It's the mother.
When a child is good, it's for the father. When it's bad, it's for the mother.
That's very the way interesting discussion.
Thank you
so much for coming on the program.
Thank you. All right, we've been speaking with Ansawa Abubakar on understanding a child's psychology. When you understand the psychology of a child, it tends to help you in the upbringing of that child because you will be able to have a very close bond with your child, and the relationship grows from infancy to adolescenthood. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, Good Morning Abuja continues.